suck badass. The only chance you have no chance. If you had a chance, you can run lickety split. But you can't run because you're badass. Well, Ric Flair, you know what? I'm not a normal-looking athlete myself. You know what I'm talking about? I've been in the gyms a lot. It's a privilege and an honor to walk out with Ole Anderson, Lex Luger, and the Army tomorrow night.
I am not a happy camper. What is Bully Ray's motivation? You know, I know he loves sugar. But I check my pocket. I don't have no donuts. I don't have no cheeseburger. I know you love sugar, but I ain't got none.
To be the man, you gotta beat the man. And I'm saying, woo, right here in Nashville, Tennessee, pal. I'm the man.
Look at a match for the total package like Luger and Super Brawl. Super Saturday? What is it? I don't know what it's called. What is it called?
Super Brawl Saturday.
Super Brawl Saturday?
You don't lose faith in winners. And Ric Flair, day in and day out, every day of his life, just keeps winning and winning and winning.
Ric Flair! New York City, Ric Flair! You're gonna find out what hard is all about! I do exactly what I want to do. You say I'm insane. I say thank you very much.
Make a good lucha stay.
I hate God!
Hit the deck! Yes! We love you, Scott Steiner!
Today, woo, I've got the star and profile like never before.
You guys talk about being students of the game. I am the game, JR.
What is going on, folks? It is Wednesday. It is the Dirt Sheet Dudes. I am Boxman. I hope you all are doing well. I gotta tell you, if there is one thing on this earth I need tonight, it is to be sitting here doing this show, talking to someone. It has been one of those weeks. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You've all been there. I'm not the only one, but I definitely need to sit around and do some talking tonight. Smark, my man, over there, how are you doing, sir?
So let me just go ahead and survey the situation. What you're saying is this is one of those days when you don't want to wake up. Everything is fucked. Everybody sucks.
Pretty much.
You don't know why, but you want to justify ripping someone's head off.
There you go. No, I'm not to that point. I'm just in like a holy shit. I have like so much to do. I'll just go ahead and tell everyone my landlord's not renewing our lease. They're not going to be renting to people anymore. They're getting out of the business. So I've got 60 days to move, and we've been here 10 years. It's there's a lot accumulated in this house. I've got a fucking air hockey table I got to do something with, man. I don't want to sell it. I don't want to sell it, Smark. I don't want to sell my air hockey table.
I don't blame you. I wouldn't want to sell an air hockey table either.
I mean, and it's like it's like an old school, full size, not like a little mini hockey table. It's a big, full size air hockey table. So I don't know. I'll see what happens with that. But yeah, it's just
and like,
good.
I was gonna say, like, I know you had young kids. How are they taking it? Because I know you grow up in one place, kind of become sentimental.
Yeah, they want to try to stay in the school district. My older one is like, my friends. My younger one is like, I might make new friends. So it's like, you know, and my daughter doesn't even know what the hell is going on right now. But it's just a lot right now with, you know, everything going on and kind of a new job I'm at right now. But my God, man, this new job, the importance of being left the fuck alone to your own devices is so important. And this job, they leave me alone. They come back there once, maybe twice a day at the most. And they leave me the fuck alone. And I didn't realize how important that was until I started working here. And I'm like, man, this is nice. I do what I want. I put shit where I want. I log it. I put it down. They don't even have a log. They don't even know I have a log. So it's just, but, you know, it's just being left alone is very important in a job. It just lets you know they trust you, I guess.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think the dream, of course, is obviously to work, you know, for yourself. If you can't do that, which I never had the opportunity to do myself, the best opportunity is just working at a place where they're not constantly breathing down your fucking neck.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at. They don't break down my neck. They're not like, hey, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this. They're like, hey, you're going to get that done, right? I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going to get that shit done. I get it done. They don't bitch. They don't care. It's just, that's the only nice thing right now. Everything else is just, you know, we thought we were getting a little breathing room, and then we get the wind knocked out of us. So
right, yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, but anyway, once again, this is not the Woe Is Me show. This is this is Smark flying away on me somewhere. There's an airplane going over him. This is Dirt Sheet Dudes, and we really quick are going to go ahead and knock out the plugs right now. Give me a second here. I will get, I don't know, I'll get something going here. Let's play, what are we going to play? Let's play some super crazy music. What do you think of that? There we go. I like
there
that.
There
Right?
you go. I like it too.
A little super, a little crazy, got a little of both in there. Let's go ahead and rock that while we're doing these right now. But, all right. We got the high marks, of course. Cheeseman, Mojo, Gee Whiz. Oh, gee, where do you find them? You find them on Mixer.com. That's Metal Mitt Network. That's right. I did not stutter. 2 T's in the old mitt right there. That's right. Metal Mitt Network. 2 T's in mitt. 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Sunday night is where you can find them. Of course, you got Bobby Anthem, Bobby Blades, the Inhumans on the Inhuman Experience. You definitely want to go ahead and subscribe to that. If you are not subscribed, do it. Binge listen. Because before you know it, they'll be back with a fucking vengeance. So check them out over there. And, of course, Everything Unscripted Wrestling Podcast. Definitely want to check those guys out. Matter of fact, Saturday night, I will be hosting the show called Settle It in the Ring. They've got some questions to answer. I will decide which is the best answer. It's basically a debate, is what it is. And I went ahead and I said I would go ahead and host it. So I will be there on Saturday night hosting that. So definitely subscribe to them on all the usual podcast platforms and check them out on Blog Talk Radio. So there you go for that. And Stephen Milan sharing the show. You guys want to show him some thanks? Check him out on Letterboxd, boxd.com/Stephen Milan. Make sure you put 2 L's in Milan. And, of course, you guys know where to find us. You can find us on Spreaker. You can find us on Anchor, YouTube, Stitcher, iHeart, Spotify, Google, TuneIn, Player FM, anywhere you find your wonderful podcasts. Smart rip.
Yes, sir. Mondays, 8:30 on the Metal Mid Podcast Network. Mid with 2 T's right here on the Mixler device. You want to go ahead and check out Cheese on Sports with the Cheese Man, the Cheese Master. Also, a little bit of a bonus. Tomorrow night, they will be doing a watch-along for the NBA, or not the NBA, the NFL draft. So you also want to go ahead and tune in for that. The Metal Mid Podcast Network, again, on the Mixler device. And Sundays, 10:30 a.m. You want to listen to the Modirk City Machine Guns with Mojo and with Dirt. And last but never least, be sure to check out our friends at Planet Raconto. Sip the Line of Rackle Tour podcast with Bobby Anthem, Papa Dave Sincere, and Yuck Nasty. Speaking of binging on things, you want to binge on that? You want to binge on all 16 episodes, and you want to subscribe for season 2. You can never have enough Bobby Anthem in your life. That's what I always say, and that's what you will find out.
Absolutely. You can never have enough Bobby Anthem in your life. You need him there. We need him there. So, like I said, even with this show right here, that show back there that I mentioned, The Inhuman Experience, subscribe. Subscribe. Binge listen.
Mm-hmm.
You won't know what to do afterwards. Anyway, let's go ahead and knock that music out real quick. Turn it down. Ooh, that was loud. That was loud. But anyway, that was pretty loud music. Anyway, we've got, again, going to be talking less and less notes on Raw. I got a few. I don't know if Smark's got notes, but I'm sure he's got a few things he wants to mention. NXT, very short. And AEW is even pretty short. But Raw. I guess we'll go ahead and get right into Raw. Raw was a... this was like Raw is deja vu. Like, we've seen a lot of this before.
Yes, literally. I mean, they literally started the same way that they started last week, except they switched wrestlers. Because you had, and they recapped it, because they recapped the whole thing with Drew McIntyre going up against Mason T-Bar, and then Braun Strowman joined him, and then this week you have Braun Strowman going out there on his own, taking on Mason T-Bar, and then this leads to, again, another tag match, which also, there was not a disqualification in this one, they decided to switch things up and make it a count-out this time, right. So they're adding a little bit of variety to it.
It just still seemed like Raw is recycled.
Mm-hmm.
It really did. Now you mentioned Mason T-Bar. Now, Smark, I have to ask you. You know what I'm going to ask you.
Sure.
Now, I know this isn't a completely new look for them. It's just the makeup on with no mask. But, what did you think of the face paint sans mask on Mason T-Bar, and why did T-Bar look like both members of Milli Vanilli?
You mean Mace?
Oh yes, Mace.
Mace is the
Mace.
Mace is the one with the dreads.
Mace. I'm sorry. I've had a few shots. The stress is getting to me.
I was going to say, I mean, Milli Vanilli were light-skinned, but they weren't that light-skinned. I mean, so basically, this is like they become the Dissension. They're not the Ascension, but they're the Dissension. So that's what they're going for with it. I don't mind it, actually. It's a weird thing to talk about, but like... I think at the end of 2019, there was just like people were making predictions for what they thought the year was going to look like going into 2020, and no matter what you predicted, you got it wrong because who would have saw what was happening? But I thought that I keep thinking that face paint is going to become a big trend in wrestling, and I don't know why, but I just keep thinking about it, and now I guess here we are because there's been a lot of face paint lately.
Yeah, I guess here we are. T-Bar looked, I guess, not bad. Mace, though, with the... I don't know if that was a fake 5 o'clock shadow or just a bad 5. He just looked like a male model with 5 o'clock shadow. He was sitting there looking all just modelly, and it's just like, wow, you really maybe should have kept the mask on to look intimidating. But... I don't know.
Well, the problem I have with it is he's wearing long pants, which is fine, but they have like nothing on them. But they didn't this week, so it looked like he was wearing sweatpants, which just looks weird.
And you know, if you're wearing sweatpants in public, you've given up.
Yes, or you're Mick Foley, which I mean, I guess could potentially be not. It's not necessarily mutually exclusive.
Wait, I've got some Mick Foley stuff for tonight. I do. I've got a little audio from Mick Foley. But yeah, it's it was a very talked about picture of those two. I guess we just wait and see where it goes. If they keep these characters, if they tweak these characters, which let's hope they do. Let's just see what happens, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I did, to be fair, to be a little bit positive, I did like the sort of picture-in-picture, old-school style promo that they cut. Because there was, like, not only was it the picture-in-picture that was doing that, but it was also the look with the face paint and everything like that. That sort of gave me a little bit of 80s vibes, and I'm always for that. So that was kind of a thumbs up there.
You know, and speaking of old school, 80s, even 90s, which is, I believe, what this would roll into here, John Morrison, during the little segment with Miz on the we had a little Miz TV. John Morrison was very 90s with the drip painted on both sides of his hair for Johnny Drip Drip, and he had what I would call Billy Cyrus hair.
Ooh, that is a good comparison. I like that. Thumbs up.
Yeah, well, don't break my heart, my achy, breaky heart. Now,
might blow up and kill this man. Yes, I
understand. You might. Whoo! Dude, I don't give a fuck what you say about that guy. That man made mad money off that one fucking song and just literally made like one more album when it was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let my daughter make money now and be whoever she is. I'm not even going to get into it.
He's an interesting fellow. Well, not only that, but he was also a part of that Old Town Road song. Uh-huh. So like he came back from the dead. It was like the end of a horror movie where you see a hand sticking out of a shallow grave.
yeah, there's that sort. But now, we've gone total Muppets on this show when we have tomatoes being thrown on Raw. Smark, tomatoes being thrown.
Somebody posted a picture on Twitter, like of a side-by-side of just like Priest in NXT versus Priest in Raw on Raw, because you have Priest in NXT and they show the little footage of him in the hot tub with the two girls, and then on the other side they show him with a guitar case full of tomatoes, and this is like, oof.
It's like, man, Triple H might not be such a bad thing when Vince is
retired. We'll say
retired. Thank you, Smark. I was searching for a word to not be rude. Thank you for that very much. But yeah, that's just sad to see. But you know, this is what happens when they move someone up. This isn't what they always do to him, but I feel bad for Priest. He's stuck in a bad storyline, but not with bad people. That's the problem. Mm-hmm. Miz and Morrison are incredibly talented. Very, very, very talented. You know, he's down there with New Day, very talented. He is very talented. The storyline itself is the only shit in the whole thing, in my opinion.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, to that point, the match that followed was actually pretty good. I enjoyed that quite a bit, but just the segment, and like that is the frustrating thing, just not new ground. We've talked about this before, but like I shouldn't groan when I see Miz and Morrison come on the TV. Like they're both good people. They're both good talkers. They're both charismatic. They're pretty decent wrestlers too. It's like I shouldn't want to fast forward every time I see them, but yet here we are, because it's just one fucking painfully unfunny comedy segment after the other.
Yeah, and I pretty much said that just to say I don't blame any of the performers in the segment. This is just a bad writing, I can't even blame the production. It's bad writing. Mm-hmm. And, you know, if they're really looking to save some money, and let's start releasing writers, like, in mass, which I know they're not going to do, but it's just a wishful thinking, I guess.
Yeah.
Wishful thinking. But, you know, another little segment we're going to touch on here, it was cool to see Sonya Deville back on Raw, keeping the authority figure role going, starting a little dissension with Mr. Pierce over there, Adam Pierce. DeVille lifted Charlotte's suspension after Charlotte delivered a pretty backhanded apology to Eddie. Eddie, as we found out his name was, Smart. I can't believe they mentioned the referee's name. Holy shit!
Yes, I was actually kind of surprised with that too. And then the only time they actually mention a referee's name is just to fucking scold them and chastise them on television. But you fucked up, Eddie. Damn it.
Yeah, just so he can be beaten by Charlotte. Now, she didn't apologize for anything except manhandling Eddie. And, again, backhanded compliment, but or backhanded apology. But I'm God, they see way more than I see in Charlotte, and that's all I'm going to say. I'll just leave it at that. I've made my rants before. I've said what I've said. I think she's incredibly overrated. There's many other people on that roster that are just as good, if not better. So I'm just gonna bow out and move on to the next little thing. I've got a note here for us, Mark. Anyone who's a fan of Humberto Carrillo, I am. I feel for you. I do. We get the same again. Raw is recycled. We get the same thing. Open challenge from Sheamus, non-title, of course. This time, at least, Carrillo walked out with the upper hand. But I mean, it's like Raw is getting so tiring. So tiring. You know, it's. I don't even know what to say.
I mean, that also happened last week. So
exactly. But the only thing was he beat the shit out of Humberto Carrillo last week. This week, Carrillo got the best of Sheamus and just walked the fuck out like nothing happened. So, you got anything on that?
Not really. I mean, it is what it is. It sucks. It's wasted opportunity. He can do more than what he's doing. And I am referencing Carrillo, but I mean also Sheamus too, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking of just wasted opportunities, should we just hold a funeral for Shelton and Cedric at this point? Do they need a GoFundMe or something?
Well, that's a bittersweet thing too, because the tag team division, or at least on Raw, the tag team division is never actually looked deeper, which isn't saying a lot, but still you're starting to build some depth there. Because you have Riker and Elias, you have obviously New Day, you have all these people. You have they apparently they're going to be having Riddle and Orton be a team now. You got Sheldon and Cedric, you got AJ and Almas. You have a lot of people now. You actually have a decent amount of teams. It's more than just the 2 or 3 that we always normally get. But unfortunately, there's half the division is kind of chumps, so that's a problem in itself. But hey, at least there's some depth there. It wasn't a bad match, though. I will say that much.
That's the thing. They go out there and they still put 100% into it. They're still being treated like garbage, and they're still going out there and putting the fucking 100% into their matches. So maybe they know something we don't. They just need to work through it. Maybe they're hoping and praying. I don't know. But or they're just very professional and go out there and do what they got to do no matter what they have to do. So.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Sheldon has never really been somebody that's given up. He's always sort of did his best with whatever he's gotten, no matter where he's been. WWE, Ring of Honor, he was in New Japan for a while. Just wherever he's been, he's busted his ass. He just hasn't always gotten rewarded for it, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I mean, Jesus Christ, that guy tried his hardest to make that gold standard thing good, and there was no way it was going to be. And he tried.
The mama angle.
Oh, my God. The again, man, I after all the shit they put this guy through, just give him something. And Cedric, another same thing. They put him through shit too. give this guy something. They're both fucking talented. Let them just stay a fucking dominant tag team. But no, I guess we'll back off that. But after that, we do get this Lashley segment. And I got to tell you, man, Lashley just comes down. He just looks like a champion, dude. MVP looks like the manager of a champion. They got the suits. They got the pocket square Smark. Lashley's just, have the swagger coming down. He's got the entrance, the ability, the believability. And I'll tell you, man, once again, we said this maybe a month or two ago, Smark. Lashley has really, and I mean seriously, stepped up his promo game. And this, again, another really good promo by Bobby Lashley. I mean, the voice is what it is, but he's learned to just, whatever he's saying is working for him.
Right. Talking about how last time he didn't lose the U.S. title, he was beaten in a triple threat match, and now sort of they're trying to screw him over again by having a triple threat match, a potential triple threat match for the title that he won now. So it was good stuff. I enjoyed it.
I mean, honestly, dude, I got to tell you, these two guys right now may be the Raw saviors, the saviors of Raw, because it's one of the things I'm really enjoying.
And it's been that way for a while.
Yep.
Like we were talking about at the end of the year that the Hurt Business had since the summer. So when they formed last summer, they've been steadily one of the more entertaining things about the show. And then unfortunately they had to go and break them up or, kind of divide the talents. But that particular section of the Hurt Business or whatever it is that still remains the Hurt Business, Lashley and MVP are still putting on solid performances every week.
Right. And I had no doubt they wouldn't. But again, there's really no reason to get rid of the other two guys. It's just not. I don't know. Now they're just floating out there, but they are really, really doing great out there. And like I said, they're kind of one of the highlights of Raw for me right now, which there's not many. But one highlight of Raw Smark now, we got Riddle. He's backstage. We get him, and we get the birth of RK Bro Smark. Riddle's, like I said, he's backstage. He's getting interviewed, and Randy walks up to him. And one of two great lines of Raw. Randy steps up and goes, "I don't even know what planet you're from." Riddle says, "I'm from Earth." Randy, shut up. I loved it. I thought it was great.
I enjoyed it too. And they doubled down on it because he was like, we only have one thing in common." He's like, "That we're both from Earth?" He's like, "Would you stop?"
Now listen, we know Riddle has always been kind of a part of the odd couple team, and that's just kind of how they put him. But I mean, we know Orton's going to turn on Riddle eventually. Unfortunately, I think they're going to let this go really quick. But I got to be honest, I like this team, and if I can relish this for just 2 weeks, Mark, this could be some really good, gold. Because Randy being the smartass, "I'm so tired of your shit," comedic heel is great.
Right.
And
I mean, it's a thing that they love because they love that odd couple pairing. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, please go. Keep going. Go.
Yeah. Okay. So, they do love the odd couple pairing. I'm with you. I don't see it lasting for very long, but at the same time, outside of the fact that Vince just hates tag team wrestling, seemingly, what's the problem with having a decent caliber tag team division? And especially when you have who you have as champions right now with AJ and Almas, you need somebody that's going to be believable to be able to get some offense in on him. Like, maybe not immediately, but, you're going to need credible challengers. And you get somebody like Orton out there that, he's been through it all, and he's won all these championships, and he's slayed these monsters. Like, that's a believable person to potentially be legitimate challengers to them. So I do hope that they keep them around for a while, but I don't believe that that's going to be the case.
No, dude, seriously, I feel like if we can get 2 weeks out of this, we might get a little bit of gold, with like I said, so that's good. And by the way, Riddle's still rocking the Evel Knievel gear. I'm 100% down with that shit, dude.
Bonus points for the guy that was doing the interview, because as Riddle kept going around him in circles on his scooter, the guy just keeps moving the microphone in a circle. He doesn't even move his body; he just moves the arm that has the microphone. I was getting a kick out of that.
Yeah, it was pretty good, man. But like I said, man, that Evel Knievel gear. Listen, I remember being a kid, and when Evel Knievel would do shit, it would be on television. So you could watch it. Oh shit! Another goddamn. Oh look, a tornado watch. Oh, wonderful. Till 2 a.m. The Evel Knievel though, they would show it on television, and man, it was just everybody. You'd be in restaurants. It would be on the television. It was just awesome to see. But I remember sitting most of the time with my dad, watching these stunts, and a couple of times Evel Knievel didn't make it, but obviously he made it to a very, very old age. But man, I just love that Riddle is rocking that shit. I really do. Yeah. But let's just hope for 2 good weeks out of this, Mark. You think maybe? 3 would be like a bonus. A month would be like, holy shit, what are they doing? 2 weeks, I think, Smart, would be just enough to wet my whistle, if you will.
Right. I get you. I'm down for that too. Just some good entertainment. It's kind of funny you were talking about it. We really don't have a modern day Evel Knievel. Every so often they'll do a little special where it's somebody's gonna fucking tightrope walk this mountain or something, or from building to building or whatever, and they'll show it on Discovery Channel or whatever. But we really don't got a consistent person that does these outlandish stunts anymore.
No, we had his Evel Knievel's son Robbie, but he's really just a really how do I put this nicely? Complete garbage human being.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of was that nicely?
Yeah, I'm not well versed in what it is that he did, but I'm assuming that's about as nice as he can get.
He's just not a good person. He's just a piece of shit. I'm not sitting there saying that his dad was this fucking, saint or anything, but he's kind of just a piece of shit. And it's got nothing to do with politics or anything like that. The guy is seriously just a piece of shit. But anyway, speaking of pieces of shit, let's bring up this whole Nia, Shayna, Reginald fucking whole thing going on. Mandy, Dana. Speaking of pieces of shit, this whole storyline is a steaming pile of shit. And now they're adding Angel Garza just to give him something to do. Maybe he can help it. Maybe he can't. For some reason, he's giving flowers now to Nia. Who did he give the flowers to? Nia. Mm-hmm. And it's just and now Reginald is getting jealous, and Nia sees. Now another great line, by the way, was after Nia got the flowers. She shoves him into. She sees Mandy Rose, and she shoves him into her chest and goes, "Put these in water, bitch." The best part of Nia is her best work is not her wrestling. No part of her wrestling is good. Some of the shit she says is the only, like, redeeming part of Nia Jax, in my opinion.
Right. I agree with that. I mean, I wouldn't put it past her, but I don't think that she can cause people physical harm verbally. But so that alone would put her talking slightly above her wrestling in the sense that she's not like a public health risk with a microphone. But you know, hey, like I said, I wouldn't put it past her. We don't know. We'll see.
No, I'm just saying. Every moment I can think of her that I laugh at, it's never in the ring. It's just her talking or doing something. But the last note I have on Raw, because the main event was what it was, is the Alexa segment, Mark, with Lily. Alexa's trying to hypnotize people and shit like that. And let me tell you something. I don't fall for that shit. Because next thing you know, you're waking up in a fucking ice bath with a kidney missing. So, holy shit.
The sound, the background noise couldn't have been perfect better time.
Jesus Christ. See what happens? Next thing you know, Jesus. Luckily, it's just the wife with shots. But
there you go.
Whew. You all right, Smark? You okay over there? You good? You good? No, there's no guy standing near you with a scalpel?
As far as I know.
All right. But what did you think of this Alexa segment while I do this shot?
Well, you know, it's appropriate that there was a loud jolting noise that just happened, because that was sort of the whole point of this segment, was she tells you that you can have your own Lily. You just have to think dark thoughts. So she like leads you on this little guided meditation of sorts, and she tells you to picture all these things, and then the setup is she goes, picture a babbling brook and picture this meadow, and they have this like kind of calming music and visual images, and you're supposed to like be staring closely at the monitor, then whatever it is that you're watching it on, and then gas, big surprise, the fucking doll pops up, and it's one of those like screamers, and it's like, did I get you? And it's like, no, you didn't get me, because I've seen a horror movie before, madam. Like I know that shit was coming as soon as you started talking. So no, you did not get me, but there you go. She is good she's doing the best with what she has, but I think this, like, the whole, like, doll thing is just sort of, it doesn't work for me. I've never been a fan of, like, evil possessed dolls in horror movies. Like, I'm not really into the whole Child's Play thing or Annabelle or any of this shit. So it's like, I can't really get into it, but she's trying her best out there.
Annabelle. Did you ever see the first one?
No, I didn't, unfortunately. Is it good?
I actually never saw it, but the star of that movie, which is Ward Horton, was a guy that me and my sister knew. I went to school with him and rode horses with him, and was a good friend of mine in North Carolina.
Nice.
Yeah, the star of that movie. He moved out to New York to become an actor, and there you go. But yeah. Yeah, I just thought I'd mention that real quick. Yeah, I got to tell you, though, Alexa without, I don't know, the aura or whatever of Bray just isn't clicking. Her on her own with this Lily thing just seems like now they're just kind of forcing this shit on us. Now what? There needs to be a now what, and with her character, I don't see a and then a now what, where is this going?
Right. Well, and I mean, I'm not opposed to her doing the whole spooky dookie character. I just wanted to say spooky dookie to be fair. It just sounded like it'd be a fun thing to say in my mind, and it came out of my mouth, and I was right. It was fun.
Yeah, it was adorable.
All right. I'm not afraid. I mean, I don't mind her having the whole supernatural character thing, but she sort of said in the promo that happened after WrestleMania that it was within her the whole time anyway. So just give her the power to do, or the ability to do, the fucking supernatural shit. Occasionally she shoots fireballs or time travels or teleports or whatever the fuck you want her to have her do. The Dow thing, I think, is just cheesy in my opinion. But I mean, we will see where. I think it's going to lead to something, because she did say at the end of the promo that Lily's getting bored and she's going to unleash her on the rest of the women on Raw. So I guess they're going to be competing next week, theoretically.
So are we saying that she stole all of Bray's powers and the Fiend is no more? Or
potentially. I mean, that's usually how it happens when these relationships happen, is they just sort of steal your soul and your essence, and you're just sort of left beaten and broken. That's my experience anyway. We're not all as lucky to be, married happily.
I believe if you ask old who is it? What's his name? Buddy Murphy. He'll probably tell you she can steal your soul. I'd let her take some of my soul. But anyway, it's just, there's just no, I just don't see what, again, it might be good. I don't see the fact that I don't see where this character is going might be a good thing, but it also, I don't know. We'll see what happens with it, but I don't know. It's just not as good without the whole Bray Wyatt, whatever, intertwined or whatever. But that's the last note I got on Raw. Let's go ahead and get into NXT. Again, I've got some really short notes for NXT. We've got a new banner, a new intro video, new music for NXT. Smark, did you notice that?
I did. I also noticed it on the Hulu. Because that's actually where I noticed it, is that they changed the logo up for the new episodes.
Yeah, they changed the profile. Now, we do have new stuff for everything, new for all the shows WWE related. So you'll be seeing those rotating through. So just to throw that out there. I don't have a ton of notes on NXT. We had, Mercedes Martinez, she defeated Dakota Kai via DQ. Raquel Gonzalez beat the shit out of Mercedes Martinez, though.
Oh, yes. And definitely, I've really become sort of a fan of Dakota Kai just in general, because she bumped her fucking ass off in this match. And she has been, as of late, just taking a lot of bumps and, sort of kind of in that Shawn Michaels, Dolph Ziggler range of just bumping the fucking ass off the entire match. There was one, Mercedes Martinez hit a spine buster, and it looked fucking sick. It was awesome. It was a really good spine buster. And it was a pretty good match in general. And then, like you said, Raquel Gonzalez, after the last 2 weeks or so teasing that she might be going face, just all of a sudden goes back to being a bad lady.
Oh yeah. And Martinez is really the heel, kind of. Isn't maybe?
And I don't think they ever really officially made her face either, but they just because they had that one segment where she went up to Robert Stone and was like, "Where's my money, bitch? Where's my money?" And she shakes him down, and then it's supposed to be her transition.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see. But like I said, Gonzalez just beat the living hell out of her. But Gonzalez versus Mercedes Martinez, I can definitely get into that shit right there, man. Definitely get into that shit. So that's going to be a nice little feud right there between those two. Now, I guess we need to get into this little thing because it kind of shapes a little bit of the show. Ember Moon and Shotzi are backstage. They're doing an interview. They're handed flowers. Frankie Monet, formerly Taya Valkyrie, comes up. She reads the card and says they're from Dexter Loomis. And one of the best lines of the night is Ember Moon just going like, "Oh hell no, I'm married." Just the way she said it, the enthusiasm, the "oh hell no," the fear almost, Smart, just had me fucking laughing my ass off.
Well, yeah, that was kind of the fun part, is they thought that it was from the interviewer. So it's like, "Oh, cool, thank you. That was very nice of you to give your guest flowers." Mm-hmm. And it's like, "Oh, it's from Dexter Lumis." She's like, "Oh, you know what? Never mind. That's fine. Oh, I'm good, thank you. You go ahead and take those shots. You're on your own." Right,
and they got into a little, the two girls got into a little no back and forth thing. Yeah, that was hokey, but that line by Ember Moon was just fucking great right there. Now, Smark, we get your man, your boy, Cameron Grimes.
Oh, Cameron Grimes. You got to say it. You got to type it with all caps. You got to say it with all caps. Cameron Grimes.
Yeah, it's been a hard week for me. Leave me alone.
I understand. That's why I'm here.
There you go. You can say it with your enthusiasm. Now, he's buying a watch, Smark. And you see a guy behind him. He's kind of covering his face with a newspaper. We find out later, who is it, Smart? Come on, tell us, who is it? Who could it be?
It's that dang Ted DiBiase.
It's that goddamn Ted DiBiase, man.
Mm-hmm. Now, I will say real quick, did this in any way, shape, or form, the store that Mr. Grimes was in, did this resemble a pawn shop to you?
Yes.
Okay, then I'm on my own, because Brian Alvarez called it a pawn shop, and I thought that was I was like, what the fuck were you watching? But hey, all right, fair enough.
Well, I mean, it depends on what kind of pawn shop you've been to. I mean, there's pawn shops that have the... But, okay, let me... There's two kinds of pawn shops, Mark. There's the open jewelry store-looking pawn shop, and then there's the we cash checks pawn shop, which has a guy behind bulletproof glass.
Okay, well, see, there you go. That says a lot about the sort of places that I have in my area, because those are really the only ones that we have around here. They're just like places you really don't want to set foot in unless you have just either a death wish or a drug addiction.
And I'm not saying it. I have been to both in my lifetime, to be honest with you. Definitely have been to both to pay rent or Jesus Christ, what was one of the things one time I sold my weight set. The guy didn't want it. He said, I bet I can't sell this. I said, listen, if you don't sell it in 3 weeks, I'll come back and buy it back from you. He sold it in a week. So lucky me, I got to keep the money he gave me.
Very cool. Very cool.
But
so
go ahead.
Yeah, we finally got the bill of the last couple of weeks have finally paid off. I don't know if this is like the final payoff or if we'll get more, but we finally got old Cameron Grimes and old Ted DiBiase on TV together. Cameron Grimes buys a watch. And he's all marveling and happy with himself for how great his watch is. And Ted DiBiase goes, "Hey kid, that's a nice watch, but it's not $1 million watch." And they show his face and he's beat red, and he kind of starting to show his age, which made me a little sad. But he gives a signature laugh, and everything is A-okay. I hope this leads to, like, either with the help of or in spite of Ted DiBiase, leads to Grimes breaking out the old $1 billion belt.
Ooh, Smark. That's the only thing I want to see now.
Me too.
Now you got me thirsting for it. I would like to see that. That would be a good thing. And I mean, Ted DiBiase now is is he a preacher, a deacon, something like that?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what his position is, but yeah, he has definitely become kind of a devout Christian. So that's the path that his life is, and it seems like it's a little bit more legitimate than the Shawn Michaels thing, where there's people that kind of openly question that. It seems like everybody sort of buys into Ted DiBiase being authentic and genuine.
DiBiase is older and just has that look, but
true.
I don't know.
He's a pretty nice guy.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't buy into the whole. Let's not get in a religion. You're not gonna like what I say. Neither
I
one.
don't blame you. That's asking for trouble.
Neither will anyone else. So
fair enough.
I'm just not a religious person. I believe anyone can believe what they want, do what you want, but I think a lot of it is hypocritical.
Right. I met him one time though. This is a very quick story. This isn't one that takes forever.
Mm-hmm.
It was a signing. It was Foley was on like one end and Ted DiBiase was on the other end. And it was a car show. It was a War of Wheels. And they usually every year they have wrestlers. So I went for Foley, but Ted DiBiase was a plus because it was him and Virgil, and I felt bad because there was nobody at the table for him and Virgil. So it just came over to bullshit for a minute, and Virgil, of course, hassles me to like buy shit, and I'm not having it. So I just go over to start talking to Ted DiBiase, and it dawns on me that I don't have any questions. Like, there's really nothing about it. Like, what would I ask Ted DiBiase? I had nothing in mind. So I was just like, hey, how are you? He's like, oh, I'm doing good. How are you? I'm like, I'm doing good. He's like, oh, that's cool. And then I left. That was the extent of my meeting with Ted DiBiase.
Wow, that was.
It was a very captivating story, and I'm glad that I held you. And then while we have like the most listeners that we've had in a couple of weeks, I'm glad that I managed to regale them with such a tale. I
can't believe that he hasn't mentioned that on a U shoot or something. But I mean, but. Anyway, let's
Like, I just wanted something to fucking just kind of sway the conversation from the religion talk. I was like, hey, you want to hear a really boring story about Ted DiBiase?
I could have just gotten into, literally, we've got something to talk about here on NXT. Timothy Thatcher is back.
Mm-hmm.
So, him and Ciampa, they confronted the grizzled young veterans. And that was what it was. Whoa. Dude, I just heard a lightsaber go off behind you.
I don't know what to tell you on that one. I haven't engaged in any lightsaber battles recently.
Are you sure you're not? I mean, sometimes I feel the Force is strong with you, so.
Hey, a follow-up story. A follow-up question on that story. I know better than this. The gentleman that bought the weight set, did he happen to be Canadian and short?
I have no clue, to be honest with you.
Which full credit goes to G Wiz on that one, because he mentioned that a rather person of ill repute may have bought the weight set and used it for its unintended purposes.
I don't know if he went on Google to look anything up. I have no clue what happened, but let's just say this was in South Florida, and that did not happen there. So I'm going to go with no.
All right, good. Very good.
I'm going to go with no. Let's just move on the matches here, too. We get the Bronson Reed defeating Austin Theory. Good match. I still think Reed is just a goddamn beast. He did earn the NXT North American title opportunity because he did beat Theory. Now, we got Indy down there. She was all upset because Loomis sent flowers to Ember and Shotzi. Loomis comes down to the ring during this match and tries to, I would say, talk, but he doesn't talk. Stare at Indy.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it looked like they were setting it up, and I'm sad that they deviated from that, because she was like just watching the match with like just elbows on the apron, just kind of looking into the ring, and I was hoping that he was going to just come over and just stand next to her and just put his like hands on his chin and just be watching the same way that she was watching. But they didn't do that, and they just sort of had her notice and then back down because she was upset that she didn't get flowers from old Dexter Loomis. She ended up sliding into the ring, which apparently is not a disqualification. So hey, there's that.
Listen, rules get made up on the fly. Just take it easy, pal. All right? Just take it easy. And, of course, this leads to Shotzi and Ember when they were going down for their match. They never got to have their match. They were ambushed by Candice and Indy Hartwell. So that obviously setting up another little feud right there.
Big bonus points to Aaliyah and Jezzy Cameo for celebrating as though they had won the titles.
Yes.
Because Robert Stern even grabbed the titles and was handed it to him. It's these are yours now, and the referee had to tell him, no, that's not.
Yeah, he was like, no, not the way it works, pal. But Smart, let me get this Adam Cole Miami Vice style interview. Are your dogs trying to kill you?
Not me this time. She has found a bug, and it's flying just below her head. She keeps trying to jump and catch it, and I think she's gonna get there. She's very. Yep, she got it.
Oh,
she got it.
Good. It was either that or you were running a fucking laser around the house.
I didn't want to talk about this Adam Cole segment, so I started doing wind sprints. Which is particularly funny if you know what I look like, because there's a very low probability of that happening.
Well, I'm laughing. But
as long as somebody is, that's all I care about.
Adam Cole speaks to again this Miami Vice style interview to Arash Markazi. Is that his? I hope that's good enough. He's he's a former sports journalist, excuse me, for LA Times. So we'll see we'll see what he does, but obviously jumping into the WWE realm. But yeah, this was either Miami Vice or Adam Cole was trying to be Scarface. I'm not quite sure which one. I could just see, Adam Cole sitting there going, "Oh yeah, really? That's a good deal, man. Yeah, yeah, Manny."
Kind of doing a little bit of a Robert De Niro there with the face.
Oh well, it's a very easy thing to go right from Scarface to De Niro. Actually, Scarface, De Niro, and Sean Penn can almost be the same little face there. Because they all smell like they're like there's a lemon involved somewhere, and they really don't like it.
Mm-hmm. They stared too closely into the sun, and it just hasn't quite gotten back to normal for them.
Although Sean Penn always just kind of looks like he smelled something like shit, just kind of like. And then they're De Niro too. You can go with the same thing with De Niro.
I'm kind of glad you brought up movies, because just a heads up, public service announcement. May 1st, they're going to be having Scarface on Netflix, appropriately enough, and I'm kind of excited for that.
By the
also,
way, it's already on Hulu if you want to watch it.
Is it now? Oh, well, I didn't know that. I've looked through their movie section too. I don't know how I missed that. Thanks for the heads up on that one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, also it seemed like bad movie acting. It just seemed like both of them, and I don't know if it was just the fault of the interviewer and that Cole didn't have a lot to work with. I think the interviewer was particularly terrible. It definitely screams one of those Nick Khan hires that we've been talking about, where it's just like a sports guy, and they're just kind of particularly bland and flavorless. And they kind of got the Adnan Virk stink on it, unfortunately. And he wasn't very good. This interviewer guy, Arash, wasn't very good, and it seemed like he was definitely reading his questions off like a fucking teleprompter that was behind Cole.
Yeah.
And Cole, I kind of liked what Cole was saying, just how he didn't think that Kyle O'Reilly had sort of the ability to deal with the pressure of carrying a company the same way that Cole did. And he's going to kind of end up folding under the pressure of all that. But at the same time, just the delivery on it was just it just wasn't very good.
No, it was. I mean, and at the end we saw that Kyle was watching the whole interview backstage. But you're right. I don't think it was that good either. There was a lot of cheese in there, if you know what I mean. Now, Smark, Diamond Mine?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is interesting.
Diamond Mine.
I mean, we really don't have too much to go on. It was just sort of one of those weird, not weird, but it was like kind of an 80s movie montage of just scenes of some unknown person working out. And then it was like, yeah, Diamond Mine coming soon. It's
Diamond
like,
Mine.
Cool, fair enough.
Diamond Mine. I don't know what else to say. Diamond Mine, folks. Keep your eyes open. Anyway, let's get to this this main event of NXT. We're rolling through the shows tonight, which is good. We got a pretty decent amount of news to get into, which is what I prefer to get into. And AEW, again, my notes are way smaller than they probably should be. But the main event tonight was Legado del Fantasma, or I'm sorry, the main event last night was Legado del Fantasma versus MSK and Kushida. There was no way to take notes on this match. I did not want to take my fucking eyes off of it. Did not want to take my eyes off of it. MSK, very obviously extremely talented. Kushida, great spots by all these guys. It was fast. It was flippy. It was fucking hard hitting at times. But at one point I thought Escobar killed Kushida with that finisher. I thought Kushida might not be getting up, but this was just a hell of a fucking, main event for this show, I thought.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's in my wheelhouse of the old flippy dippy stuff that I enjoy so much. You had at one point old Wesley, which is a name I'll never get tired of saying, goes for like he's doing some gymnastics type stuff because he's doing like sort of the backhand spring, doing all these flips and shit, and he goes for whatever move it is that he's setting up for, and Wild just catches him midair with a drop kick and fucking sends him flying. It looked real nice. There was a lot of really cool, like you pointed out, the power bomb through the table. There's a couple of cool spots in this match. It was one of those things where you kind of have to like watch it again if you really want to remember what it is that happened, because there's just so much going on at once, just so quickly. But I'm all for it, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, I literally just put my phone in my pocket and said, "Fuck, I'm not even. Fuck the notes, man. This is just a fucking great match through and through." So. It was a great main event. Good way to end. Now, Smark, you posted the ratings for NXT. 744 for NXT. Did that go up from last week? Do you know?
No, that went down from last week. Because last week it was like 835, I want to say. It was 830, 835. It was in that ballpark. So it was a drop down. I was hearing people saying that there was like a nothing happening, none doing kind of show, but I feel like it was the contrary of that. I actually had quite a bit of fun watching it. I of the three shows that we've watched this week, I kind of enjoyed it the most, honestly.
I think AEW had some really good segments tonight that we're going to get into in a couple minutes here. But I mean, NXT, like I said, the main event was really good. So I don't know, man. NXT doing 744. I mean, we'll talk Friday about what AEW is going to do tonight. But 744 unopposed on a Tuesday night. I'm not going to sit here and say that's a good number.
No, not really. And I mean, I don't, unless I'm just completely forgetting something and I'm just not in touch with pop culture, which is incredibly plausible. I don't think there was really anything of real substance going on yesterday in terms of like something that would dominate television. Mm-hmm. And even so, like last week, there was something big that was dominating television that Tuesday, mm-hmm. and they still did a really good numbers. I don't even think that really, one thing leads to another on that.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing you can even get to here to make an excuse for NXT doing 744,000. Absolutely not. They should be in the 8s, close to the 9s. I mean, when AEW is breaking 1 million, which if they break 1 million this week and next week, and like I said, I'm not going to sit. I really want to wait another couple of weeks. I said a month was really, let people realize NXT is on a different night. I know, some people are DVRing it, and oh shit, we got to get the DVR back to it. But another couple of weeks, then we'll see what's going on there. Fridays will be telltale with we'll already have both ratings by then, so we'll get a little more into it on those. But Raw with 1.77 million, that definitely went down from last week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been sort of a downward, and I don't blame anybody, but it's been a downward spiral from the last 3 weeks because post-WrestleMania Raw was 2 million, then it went from 2 million to 1.8, now it's 1.7, it's just dropping.
Yeah, listen, y'all saw my notes. It's going to get smaller and smaller as we go. I even mentioned to Smark that maybe we should just completely stop talking about Raw altogether, which I don't think either one of us would sit here and cry if we didn't have to watch Raw. But so I guess we can go ahead and jump into NXT real quick. Oh, I'm sorry, AEW real quick. I got to be honest, I lost power at some point during this show. We've had some bad storms going through here, bad lightning going through here, thunder. We've got thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings until about 2 a.m. 2 a.m. tomorrow morning. So I had a few problems tonight, and looks like the storms are over right now, but I guess they may come back, so if we happen to just shut off here, I lost power again. But this show started off tonight, Smark, the AEW, with Adam Page versus Brian Cage, Page versus Cage. And the match started out as a clusterfuck. Cage attacked Page before he even got in the ring. We had Team Taz come out, Dark Order come out, they brawled. Now, I got to tell you, as soon as I heard Taz on commentary, Smark, did you think that Cage was going to lose this match?
Yes, we established this. They went against us. That anytime that Taz is on commentary, his guy loses because they just like having Taz out there suffering.
Yep, they really they stuck it to us this time, man, because we were wrong. Cage did win this match. Now, listen, I got no problems with this match. It was actually a really good match between the guys, but I don't know, man. The whole beginning of it just seemed unnecessary.
Yeah, a little bit. And I mean, I guess that's sort of, to protect Paige a little bit, because there's sort of a conversation that was going on here in the old Mixler chat, mixler.com/dirtsheet dudes, but shill, that it just was Paige a top guy. And it seems like, at least the way that, whether you believe in him or not, that's a whole nother matter that's open for debate. And I mean, if you don't, that does sort of affect your enjoyment of him. But they've been certainly building him as such. They've been keeping him winning and keeping him looking steadily, consistently solid. And he doesn't lose very often. So this actually did, at least to me, feel like a big thing that they had him lose.
No, it was, definitely. And I mean, even Taz made sure to make that point that this was a huge win. This is maybe one of the biggest wins for Team Taz. And they did drive that point home. And I mean, listen, Adam Page is one of them that they said, way back we talked about how they said that they were going to make this guy a star. Just wait. I mean, this was back when they, probably almost a year ago, when Jericho, I believe it was Jericho who said that. He said, we are going to turn Adam Page into a star for our company. So, I get it. But still to have that beginning and then make the match so long really doesn't say, hey, Page is still a, no matter what, he's still a fucking tough guy. It just didn't say that to me. But it was a big win for Cage either way. I'll put it that way.
Sure. Yeah, because they did have, Page was the number one, the top-ranked non-champion. He was a top-ranked contender. So, they made sure to mention that at least, that Cage knocked off the number one guy in the rankings. So whatever, what does that mean for him? We'll have to wait and see, but,
Yeah, absolutely. And I see Christopher Kane right here is saying that we'll go ahead and jump to it for you, Christopher. The Pentagon versus, he came down with Alex versus Orange Cassidy match. He said it wasn't too bad. I thought that was a really, really fucking good match. Penta is he's a great heel, and he could do the comedy spots without like killing his awesome heel persona. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He toes the line with the I'm definitely a heel, but I can still be funny with the guys. Go ahead, Smart.
Right, and I think what's cool about that is he does that while not really saying much of anything.
Right.
That's sort of what makes him such kind of a cool, diverse talent. And I think the thing about that is also he has a real commitment to the entertainment side of it, which I know can sometimes be a dirty word, but he definitely, in line with his sort of heritage and his tradition, the traditional lucha mentality, has a very much a flair for the dramatic, so he definitely cares about the sort of overall pageantry of it. Because there's been so many times where he's just made damn sure, no matter what, that he's gotten his taunt in, and there's been times where he'll just be in the middle of a match and he'll just be sort of swaggering around the ring, just sort of doing the kind of walk that he does, where he's like lifting his legs up kind of slowly and just kind of hamming it up a little bit. He likes to sort of go back and forth between that being the serious ass kicker guy, and then he'll, like the St. Patrick's Day thing where he lost the match with Cody, and they cut back to him and he has the fucking leprechaun like top hat on, and it's just like he just, like you said, he toes that line. He's just overall just an entertaining fucking person.
Yeah, but I mean, even when he's being funny, he's still being a prick about being funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's an obnoxious kind of a thing.
Yes, and that's the line that I fucking like with him. And I got to tell you, 2 times tonight, though, Smark, I got a Ric Flair car shield commercial. Did you get that too?
I sure did. Yeah.
I thought that was a little weird. A little weird right there. But
well, it's definitely weird because, and this isn't new, but you have the Ric Flair commercial coupled with the commercials that they've been running for that game show that has John Cena. Right. So, like, while you're watching AEW, watching Dynamite, you're seeing John Cena and Ric Flair. It's a bit weird, yeah. Yeah,
and by the way, that Wipeout show is another show on Hulu. If you want to, check that out with John Cena over there. My kids actually like watching it. My 12-year-old put it on. He has we gave him his own Hulu account. It's still under my wife, my wife's name and everything. But he gets into it. But I saw it on there, and I'm like, "Have you watched it?" He's like, "Yeah, it's awesome." And I'm like, "I need to show you a show that used to be on USA Television. You know which one I'm talking about? What was it?
Most Extreme Elimination Challenge.
Most Extreme Eliminations, exactly. I said, I've got to show you that one day. I need to find them. I have the whole show on disc somewhere. Somewhere in my collection of DVDs, I have that whole show on disc. So I'll find it, and I'll let him see that. But, yeah, good shit right there, man. With Penta, like I said, he really gets you just thinking, really, holy shit, this guy is just so fucking good at what he does. But we got the Elite segment, Mark. It was in the back of a limo, and I gotta tell you, man, I'm kind of torn on this, man, because it's really hokey, it's really stupid, it's really obnoxious, but Omega's really good. So I've got this, torn thing going on.
Yeah, I kind of get it. I have a weird sort of relationship with the whole Good Brothers thing because I've watched the pay-per-view that they do, the Tug and Shop Mania thing, and I really enjoy it. I think it's really funny, but when you put them in the context of like actual serious wrestling and they're wearing these ridiculous outfits and saying all these like dumb catchphrases and whatnot, it doesn't hit its mark with me. It just kind of seems like what would happen if you like put like Leslie Nielsen into like a Hostel movie or something or Saw or something, where it's like, I love Leslie Nielsen, but if he showed up, like, I know that he passed away, but I'm saying if he showed up in like an 80s horror movie, well, he did with fucking Prom Night, but if he showed up in like, this is like real super serious movie and he was playing his Naked Gun type character, I'd be like, what the fuck is going on here? It would be a turnoff. Yeah, it would be. Now, and you know, let's just get into this whole Kenny Omega thing. He won the Impact title from Rich Swann over the weekend. Now, Smark, let me ask you something. How many times did Kenny Omega bring up Impact Wrestling during this, like, any promo tonight at all? That I can remember, none. How many times did he walk out with the Impact title over his shoulder? That I can remember, not at all. We've been talking about how this is only benefiting one company, and it is not Impact Wrestling, man. It's, I mean, I get it. They want him to be the cleaner. He's getting all these titles, and you know, he's sweeping titles, and he's cleaning and sweeping and sweeping and cleaning, but this Impact thing is just not. This somehow Tony Khan conned them into something that the only company benefiting is his. That's it. Tony Khan, I think, might have to be his new name. I mean, I can go with that. And I guess what I was hearing a little bit on The Observer was just not necessarily that this is a true matter of fact as much as it is just a potential devil's advocate point that was brought up, is maybe just it's a TNT call, that they don't want to be talking about another company's belt or like spending a lot of time and effort promoting another company's pay-per-view. But I mean, maybe not. Who knows? That's really the only potential, like, logical reason as to why. But even so, it just comes off as like we talked about it plenty of times. But just that they got dicked over because there's not really a lot of talent being exchanged. You don't, you know, they barely talk about Impact on the show, if at all, and it's not working out for them as a partnership. No, it's not. And you know what? At this point, just send the Good Brothers back. No one fucking needs them there. Just stop this. Stop it all. Let Omega lose. Whatever. Give the title back. Let him come in limping. I don't give a fucking shit at this point. And then, I mean, we got the Young Bucks match next, which had the Matt and Mike Sydal, and you got Don Callis on commentary, and now the Young Bucks, they've got a guy with Young Boy on his sweater spraying them with cooling spray. Mm-hmm. Dude, there's annoying heels, which I get, and then there's get the fuck off my television heels. And Young Bucks are slowly becoming. Please, get off my television, one way or the other, please. Please. I get it. And I don't know. It seems so weird. Like they're doing the thing of how heels do, where dressing outlandishly in hopes to get heat, where that works for Sheamus, and that kind of worked a little bit for, I hate to give him credit because I don't particularly like him, but Ethan Page with the whole fucking pink polo and khaki shorts, looking like every guy that I tried to fight in high school for being an obnoxious douche. But it was just when the Young Bucks are doing it, they just come out like, I was actually watching the other day the You Can't Kill David Arquette documentary on Hulu. And like that, it's kind of a part that's understated that I forgot about, where he, like, his wrestling character showed up wearing like basically a fucking wizard's outfit, and it's like, why are you doing this? Like, how does this connect with your character? Like the Young Bucks thing, they come out and they're wearing this like ridiculous outfits, and it's like, why? Why are you all of a sudden just wearing these? It doesn't make sense. But other than just the fact of just like, we're going to try to fucking do anything to get heat. It's like, okay.
They're just living out some fantasy of their own in their own mind. So, but anyway, I'm done. I just, if the Young Bucks just decided to become a backstage guys, I'd be very happy. But this next segment I really enjoyed, this Pinnacle and Inner Circle segment. Inner Circle showing up on motorcycles. I was really enjoying this whole thing, and then someone decided to give a microphone to Sean Spears, and I was like, what the fuck is that for? Granted, everyone got a chance to speak on that side, but I got to tell you, man, out of everybody, MJF did just great, but Jericho here was on fire.
I agree. I agree with that. My headphone keeps falling out of my ear. It's distracting.
No, I'm sorry.
But no, I agree with that. Jericho did a good job. MJF did a good job. That kind of thing, you could always always rely on them to deliver in those situations. I'll give a little bit of credit more so to, like, Santana and Ortiz were pretty good. I was a little bit surprised that they had Santana be a little bit more the loose cannon, since it's always sort of Ortiz's role. Right. And you had Ortiz sort of putting his hand on him and telling him just to calm down and not overreact, because you had, I want to say it was Dax Harwood that was doing the promo, and I hate to give them, I don't necessarily hate to, but I will give them credit, since week after week, and justifiably so, I think we come on here and we talk about how fucking boring FTR is. I actually thought they had a pretty good promo this week of just saying that you can't be the sort of lapdogs that you've become. You've got to be the old Santana and Ortiz, or else, when you leave, tell your kids that daddy ain't coming back. And it was just like, okay, that was good. That was actually some passion, some emotion. I actually didn't fall asleep while you were talking. So you've elevated your game quite a bit, at least this week. I'll give them credit for that.
Right. And I really thought everybody was good on the mic here, but Jericho just took it and then finished it up and tied a beautiful little bow on top with ribbons and did nice, signing, and it just, Jericho really just tied everything up into one little thing. And obviously this is setting up the match for at Blood and Guts next week, but I just thought Jericho was on fire. Jericho was the Paul Ellering of this promo.
Interesting. It's actually funny you say that, because Rachel Ellering is back in action. She was on the Impact pay-per-view that they didn't promote. She won the tag team titles with old Jordan Grace, I believe. Yep. But be that as it may, and Jericho was good. I like the fact that he was like mid-promo and he cuts off, like totally starts trying to talk. He's like, hey, you're not interrupting my promo, pal. Back off. Yeah. I was like, I like that part of it too. And he kind of did the rebuttal for what MJF said about him being 25 and being a curtain jerker on Saturday night, saying that, he didn't have the best run at that point in WCW, but at that point he had already wrestled in Japan and Mexico and had all the sort of worldly experience that made him the person that he is now. So that was a good addition to, rebuttal, actually some continuity I enjoyed.
Yeah, and also said he was proud to be that curtain jerker at that time. So I thought that was just nice, very nice. Again,
like, hey, you know how much I got paid for that shit? But
yeah, exactly. And now I got to tell you, Smark, I brought up the Storms earlier to tell you that I cut out a few times. Now, I missed most of this Kingston, Moxley, Omega, but this one wasn't completely due to the storm. I did lose internet here, but I also had an 8-year-old who fell and sliced his knee open, so I had to super glue that before the wife came out.
It's like breaking out old like fucking Sabu and ECW with the barbed wire match, just glue in the fucking pack or whatever it was back in.
Well, I mean,
Boxman breaking out the glue gun.
I mean, my kid will let me do it, but if my wife sees me doing it, I won't be able to do it. So, anyway, I also miss the Taz and Christian stuff too. I miss both of those.
Okay.
So
I can recap that a little bit if you want. Basically, the whole Eddie Kingston thing, it was supposed to be an unsanctioned, and they touted it as such. Eddie Kingston and Kenny Omega were supposed to have a match. So Kingston comes out and Omega basically just says, hey, like, you guys fucking, you and Moxley broke our van, bus, destroyed our property and shit. Now we're mad at you. So, like, why are we going to do you a favor by giving you a match with the champ? You haven't earned that. You don't deserve that, so on and so forth. So it ended up becoming Kingston versus Nakazawa a little bit. And Kingston basically just kind of roughed him up for a little while and then got him in a position where he was going to do to him, but he was going to do Nakazawa what they did to Kingston, but he was going to break his ankle. So he gets his ankle in the chair and he demands, it's funny because he demanded a title shot. He was going to say that you'll either give him a title shot or I'm going to break his leg or break his ankle. Kenny Omega's like, well, he knew what he was getting himself into. I'm just going to leave. It's like, tough shit. I don't care. So he starts trying to leave. He started trying to leave. He's like, hey, you know what? I got other lackeys. So he sends out Brandon Cutler. That doesn't work. Moxley comes in. They end up, getting the better of Omega. They get Omega's ankle in the chair and they threaten to break it. Now, I mentioned that Kingston said he wanted a title shot. So Kingston's asked for a title shot, but Moxley gets the microphone when they have Kenny Omega vulnerable and says that they want a title, or not a title match, they want a tag team match with Omega and Nakazawa. And I was like, wow, you really fucking way to undercut your friend there. He wanted a title match and you just like fucking begged Don Callis for a tag team match of little to no consequence. So it's like, you really sort of fucking took the legs out from under the poor man. But that was pretty much that. So we're going to have Kingston and Moxley versus Nakazawa and Omega next week, along with the blood and guts match. The Cage and Taz promo was basically Cage accusing Taz of being bitter that he retired too soon and he didn't have the sort of heart and balls and guts that it took to make a comeback the way that Christian did. And that was pretty much it with that. So that was what you missed. It was pretty good, but it wasn't like anything that you necessarily need to double back and check out.
All right. Nice. All right, at least I know what happened there. I know we had this Chris Statlander versus Penelope Ford match. It was fine. Statlander won the match, but I really got nothing to add on it. You?
Not particularly. There was also Miro basically beat the ever-loving shit out of Kip Sabian, so I guess that's the end of their union that really got nobody anywhere. So thank God.
Yeah, and we had the Nightmare Family match, and then that was when I lost power. I came back, and Miro was slamming Kip's arm in the door.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Which,
there.
I mean, basically the whole thing was built on them talking about on Twitter that they needed to get back together and talk things over. And so you have Kip just come into Miro's dressing room, and as he starts to try to talk to him, Miro has none of it and just beats the shit out of him. So There was no real, Sabi didn't push Miro to the edge or anything. Miro was already poised to attack as soon as he came in. So there was that.
Yeah, that was. So we can skip that part. Now, we did have this Nightmare Family versus the Factory or some shit, and
that's what they're called, the Factory.
Well, I got to tell you, it's a shit factory. Number one, the only guy I like is
you
that.
never sounded more like Jim Cornette. I don't disagree with you, but it was a factory more like the shit factory. More like the Charmin Corporation.
Goddamn shit factory. I could literally shit that out after eating a Wendy's, goddamn it. That'd be right around the last bite when I'm shitting out the first bite. The only guy I like is the caveman looking dude. Was it Nick Camarano? Mm-hmm. I like him. I think he's going to be something. But otherwise, this whole thing, and Cody jumping on top of getting on top and making a big comeback. What were you going for, Cody? 2 weeks? 2 fucking weeks.
It was pretty much 2 weeks because there was the match that he had against Pentagon where Pentagon broke his arm and he no-sold it. Then he got attacked by old QT Marshall. So apparently QT Marshall is more devastating than having your arm broken. I don't believe that. But he was gone for like 2 weeks. And I knew as soon as they came out in the fucking Cody Rhodes bus, which, oh, God, the fucking... Ugh, God, for somebody who grew up in the business, like, he should have known. I mean, it worked well for Lex Luger is what I'm saying. The fucking remake of the Lex Express. Yeah. I knew as soon as they came out in the Cody bus that the fucking Cody was going to come back. And I already did not care about this match. I couldn't have given less of a fuck anyway. But then Cody came out and it just added on to the irrelevant Sunday that this was. And they get him fighting on top of the bus. Cody and QT are fighting on top of the bus. And we often talk about like how sad it is that certain wrestlers are not around anymore. Eddie Guerrero and Hart, that kind of a thing. I never more pined for in my life fucking Mike Awesome, because I was really just hoping that somehow Mike Awesome would come back and give him like an awesome bomb, like how he did to Shaggy 2 Dope on Nitro on the old fucking that 70s guy bus, and Shaggy 2 Dope fell off of the bus. I was really hoping he would do that to Cody, just fucking magically appear, give him an awesome bomb, and have Cody skin off the bus.
No, we get Cody just flexing on top of the bus and.
And then right after that, though, that's the thing. It's okay, this show is taped, but it still seems weird because if you're playing along, this shit's supposed to be happening in real time. They immediately after, and I mean immediately, like a second after, announced that Tony Khan has decided to make Cody Rhodes versus QT Marshall next week. So it's like, how did he have the time to put that together? It doesn't make sense in real time. And also, I couldn't give less of a shit. You're taking away time from matches that I actually care about. It's going to be less time for Blood and Guts. It's going to be less time for the tag team match that I just mentioned. But something that even in 2021, somebody I'm way more excited to see wrestle, they announced that 2 weeks from now, it's going to be Jon Moxley versus Yuji Nagata for the IWGP, the U.S. title, the New Japan U.S. title, which I know for a fact is probably not going to happen, which is a weird thing to say. Know for a fact, probably not. I sort of went back and forth with the probability on that. But I know that it won't happen, but I really wish that old Tony Khan would dig into his tumbler, dig into the coffer, get the money that it takes to bring in fucking Sonny Ono. Please do it. You won't, but please do it. We've talked about him being kind of a carny asshole before, but still, I would like to see it.
I guess we could go ahead and see it once or twice. Who knows? But I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, he does have that match coming up. And again, the forbidden door, once again, Smark, is open.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess we'll go ahead and get to this main event, knock this out, and then take a pee break. And get into the news and get out of here. We had this Darby Allin coming down with Sting versus 10 of Dark Order. Now, this wasn't a 5-star match, but I really enjoyed watching every bit of it, man. I knew there was no way 10 was going to win this match, but still just enjoyed watching everything up until the really unexciting roll-up finish. We don't even get Darby doing a goddamn coffin drop. Roll-up finish. That's it.
Yeah, it was that particular part of it was a little underwhelming, but I do like how they're having kind of Darby be a little bit grittier and grimier. He's not necessarily wrestling the same way that your average like white meat babyface would wrestle. He sort of takes some shortcuts here and there and wrestles a little bit dirty. He had him not take off, but rip the mask of 10, which ultimately led to him winning the match, like you said, with the roll up, that part was a little bit meh. But other than that, I actually thought it was a pretty good match. This is actually the third week I was seeing them pointed out online. The third week that Darby Allin is main event at Dynamite. So it kind of goes to show you the kind of faith that they have in him. Because it was the Matt Hardy match, the Jungle Boy match, and now this one.
Yeah, oh, jeez. Maybe Darby Allin's the new John Cena. One
can only hope.
Oh, one can only kill yourself. Anyway, there was a little show of respect at the end between these two guys. And then Scorpio Sky and, was it Ethan Page? Is that his name?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ethan Page came out first, and then Scorpio Sky came out.
And attacked Darby and Sting. And then Archer comes out for the save, and that is AEW, man. It was, I got to tell you, there was probably only 2 or 3 segments I really liked on this show. I mean, the main event, the Pinnacle segment, that might be that really might be mostly it. So, I don't know, man. What about you?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, there was a couple of things that I didn't particularly care for, but everything else was good. Like I said, I couldn't give less of a fuck about the whole Nightmare Family factory feud. But outside of that, it was all right. Like I liked the Page Cage. I thought that was all the rage. And a couple of sages there, all kinds of just rhymes for days with that. But yeah, then everything else was good. The Kingston stuff was good. I'm always down for a nice long Pentagon match. We got that. So all in all, good stuff. Like I said, I thought NXT was a little bit better, but this wasn't a bad show.
All right, there you go. The third one would be the Pentagon Orange Cassidy match. So there you go. 3 things. No, not a bad show, but not. Again, you're unopposed. You need to be. I don't know. They'll probably still get fine ratings, so let's hope they don't become complacent in their little 1 million+ ratings and just kind of start shitting on everything. But like I said, after that little segment right there, we're going to take a quick. I'm taking a pee break. I don't know what Smark's going to do, but quick pee break. Be back in probably 2-3 minutes at the most, and I will play a little music for everybody. You lucky downloaders don't even know what happens because next thing you know, you're back, and it's like the magic of technology. So, all right, be back in just a second, guys. Thank you. All right, thank y'all. Really appreciate that. Had to happen. No way I would have been able to finish this shit. But anyway, where were we, Smart? We were going to jump back, and we were going to get into the news, and then we were going to wrap this up. You know what? Before we get into all the news, let me play a little bit of audio here that I've got. It is a fan, a Mick Foley fan, not even a Mick Foley fan. Let's say a Mankind fan. Asked Mick Foley as Mankind to do the Hard Times promo by Dusty Rhodes. Mm-hmm. And I've got it here. So if you're ready, I'm going to play it.
Let's do it.
I don't have to say a lot more about the way I feel about Ric Flair. No respect. No honor. There is no honor among thieves in the first place. He put hard times on Mankind and his family. And Ric Flair, you don't know what hard times are, Daddy. Hard times are when the textile workers around this country are out of work. They got 4 or 5 kids, and they can't pay their wages, can't buy their food. Hard times are when the auto workers are out of work. And they tell them to go home. And hard times are when a man has worked at a job for 30 years. 30 years. They give him a watch. They kick him in the butt and say, hey, the computer took your job, Daddy. That's hard times. And Ric Flair, you put hard times in this country by taking Dusty Rhodes out. That's hard time. And we've all had hard times together. Now, I admit I don't look like the athlete of the day is supposed to look. My belly's just a little big. My hiney's just a little big. But, brother, I am bad. And they know I'm bad. And there were two bad people in the history of this world. One of them was John Wayne, he's dead, brother. The other one's right here. Mankind. Nature Boy Ric Flair. The world's heavyweight title belongs to these people. I'm going to reach out my hand right now. I want you at home to know that my hand is touching your hand for this gathering of the biggest body of people in this country, in this universe, all over this world. Now reach out, because the love that was given to me at this time, I will repay you now, because I will be the next world's heavyweight champion of this Hard Times Blues Tour 2022. Mankind, have a nice day.
Fucking awesome, man.
Mm-hmm.
That was fucking awesome right there. I really did like that, man. You know, you got... I mean, you can feel Dusty doing that promo right there, but Mankind definitely did some justice to it right there.
Absolutely. I do sometimes wonder, like, how certain people would fare if they were delivering other people's promos. Like, we talk about all the time about how certain styles work for, you know, certain people. Certain people have their own sort of charisma, and then there's other people that they can just kind of deliver anything and make it gold. And I think Foley's one of those people that can just do anything really well, and I think that shows here. I enjoyed it, and then plus, like you said, it was a fan just sort of asked him to do it. He was like, "Yeah, sure, I got a couple minutes to go."
Oh, it was a cameo.
True. Yeah, but I mean, they could sort
right.
of turn that down. So.
Oh, absolutely.
It's still cool of him to do.
I thought it was very, very cool of him to do. Very good. Just a lot of good stuff right there from and like I said, you can feel Dusty doing that promo, and that's a little bit of our intro right there with the, you know, my belly's a little big, my height is a little big. That's right, baby. Ooh, yeah, daddy.
Now we just need Foley to just give a shout out to all elite Scooby Doo, and we'll be all good.
Raggy. Anyway, moving on with you know what? Let's do this one right here. You know, we've mentioned this a few times on this show, Smark. Me, you, everybody else has mentioned this thing. The brain damage or the CTE case that's been going on, the class action lawsuit, with guys like Billy Jack Hayes, Luther Reigns, the wife of Viscera. A few months ago, we said this was going to the Supreme Court, right? Do you remember this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that.
And we thought maybe they were going to get a little bit of something. The Supreme Court the other day decided not even to hear the case. So it's done. It's over. Mm-hmm. You've brought it to the highest court in this country, and there's nothing that's going to happen right now. Now, this was one of those class action lawsuits where I got a feeling the lawyer was like, you don't pay me until I get paid and we're going to get paid and blah, blah, blah. I feel bad for the lawyer here, but I don't know where they thought this was going to go. Some of the people that were in this weren't put through fucking chairs every night. We'll put through tables every night and chairs and chair shots, and it's definitely a win for WWE. Is definitely what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Score one for the good guys. All right. From what I understand, the lawyer actually owes WWE money in legal fees now. So not only did they not get the cash in, but it also sort of blew up in their face, which, I mean, it is what it is. We've talked about it at nauseum at this point. But I mean, I could see, it didn't seem to me as fraudulent as it may have appeared to others. Because, I mean, they do put their bodies on the line for this sort of thing, and a lot of people have sort of suffered long-term, medical issues, complications, however you want to look at it. But, it is what it is. Like, that is a juggernaut that you're going up against in terms of legal cases.
There's that, and let's face it, these guys knew what they were signing up for. I don't mean to be an asshole here, but they do. They knew what they were signing up for.
Right, well, yeah, I mean, yes and no. I mean, they knew that there was a risk, obviously. But I don't think, obviously, we didn't know then what we know now in terms of CT and all that kind of thing. And there was a lot of people that took a lot of very nasty, as we just played Mankind audio, very nasty fucking chair shots and things of that nature. But like you said, to that point, everybody involved did know that there was a risk. And unfortunately, it's just a matter of, it was a different time.
Right. Exactly. But, like I said, this is actually a big win for WWE here. This case is over. It's not going to be heard anywhere else. It's laid to rest, if you will. So I guess we'll lay it to rest, too. That's what we'll go ahead and do right there, Smark. A real quick one we'll get into, and then you can pop into one of yours over there. Sadie Gibbs, who last I remember seeing her was on AEW last year sometime, has announced her retirement from wrestling. Only 29 years old, man, and is retiring. Basically, she put out a long statement. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Just saying she wants to be doing more, and she doesn't feel that she can wrestle and do more. She actually wants to be an actor. She wants to do action films, maybe even be a stunt double or something. But she's got bigger and better things to get into, and wants to see if she can do that. So she is retiring at 29 years old. What do you think of that, Smart? 29 years old, retiring from wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, good for her, obviously to have those kind of goals and dreams and aspirations and whatnot, and sort of courage that it takes to try to pursue those. Hopefully that all works out well for her, but I mean, if it doesn't, of course, we all know that these wrestling retirements are always far from permanent. So, if things don't work out for her, she does have that to fall back on. But, I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens. There's been a couple of cases of people, leaving wrestling, obviously some obvious ones, and becoming successful in the acting world, even becoming successful as, stunt doubles and whatnot. So, we'll see.
Yeah, we will definitely see. I mean, many people have thought they could get movie roles and haven't, so we'll find out what happens with Sadie Gibbs in the future. In the future, Smark.
Mm-hmm.
Future. So, Smart, you got a few little things to get into, so pick and I'll follow, sir.
Oh, right. I'm going to go ahead. This is from Wrestling Inc. Old Hugo, son of a bitch, his actual name Hugo Savinovich. I just like calling him that. It's sort of an old joke and an inside joke. You follow the same circles that we follow. But Wrestling Inc., this is a interview with him, or the recap of an interview with him. Legendary pro wrestling commentator Hugo Savinovich was on a recent episode of the Wrestling Inc. Daily to discuss the current state of WWE. Savinovich pointed out that the WWE has been more profitable during during the pandemic, since the company no longer tours for live events. Quote, WWE dominates wrestling because they're the number one company in the world, said Savinovich. However, if you closely study the product, you're going to realize that they actually are making more money now with Thunderdome because they're not drawing on the road. It was embarrassing. They're not drawing for Raw or Smackdown. They're actually losing money. Now they have one building where they do 2 shows in NXT in a smaller building, and all of their shows are making money. Savinovich added, the reality is the number one company in the world has almost 300 top talents, and the people who work there are actually upset. Not many people want to talk about it because they're scared of the monster. During the podcast, Wrestling Inc. managing editor Nick Hausman, however you want it, it's your choice, brought up glaring creative issues in WWE's product. Quote, the only true enemy that WWE has is WWE, stressed Savinovich, because they don't need more money. They already got enough money from Peacock and NBC and Fox and all the other deals. Yet they mistreated the fans. Remember when the McMahon family did a semi-shoot by standing in the ring and promising to change the product? I haven't seen it happen. They messed up Bobby Lashley and, oh boy, King Corbin out of nowhere. They messed up with Bobby Lashley and King Corbin out of nowhere, and then Lashley and MVP suddenly go from Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin to ex-Retribution guys. Quote, I don't want to bring race into this, but what the heck is going on? Not just because they were all black, but the Hurt Business was actually working. Mm-hmm. This is very true. They had a fantastic frontman and MVP, a fantastic wrestler in Benjamin, a great youngster in Cedric, powerhouse Lashley. What are they thinking by bringing in Corbin? You made a powerful enemy today, my friend, with that. But anyways, when you have something that's working, don't freaking change it. Which, I mean, yeah, it's kind of open for debate as to whether or not it is a racial thing. But even besides that, regardless of what you think about that, we've talked about time and time again that it was working, that everyone did like it, and they just sort of got rid of it for no apparent reason.
We basically just talked about it tonight, where we were like, I don't understand. Neither one of us understand why they got rid of Cedric and Shelton Benjamin, but they did. And I got to tell you, there's not a lot here that I can argue with. He's right. WWE's only true enemy is WWE. They do and have made some incredible deals with, like he said, Peacock, NBC, Fox, USA, he didn't mention. But all those companies, they've got great deals with all of them. And, he's right. They are getting complacent. And they have been for a long time. It's not like this is just suddenly happening and, we're seeing it now. But it seems like now they're really just saying, fuck you, we got money, we're just putting on a show just to keep you guys fucking happy at some points.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, is like you said, and like we've talked about before, is just that they're making more money now than they ever did. So there's no real reason for them to shake anything up, to try any different creative ventures and try anything real risky or daring or adventurous or any sort of shake-up, because to them, they're succeeding and they manage to leverage the fact that, they spin it in such a way that their television partners agree and their sponsors agree, and there's, what the actual input from the fans is sort of irrelevant to them. Because like we talked about before, we talked about how Nick Khan says he doesn't even pay attention to Twitter, but the fans that he does pay attention to are the fans that they bring into the Thunderdome, that they tell how to react anyway. So it's just like they sort of have a vacuum right now, Mm-hmm. It is what it is. It's just not necessarily any reason or indicator to believe that things are going to get better anytime soon, but I guess we'll see.
Just bring all the submissives come on in.
Mm-hmm.
We're the Doms. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a community within that. I think that might be what they're trying to do with the whole Karrion Kross Scarlet thing.
No, pretty much.
He seems sort of into the whole S&M gimmick.
I wouldn't mind a few whips from her. But yeah,
there you go.
Again,
fucking nice stiletto into the windpipe.
That would, but yeah, I'm sure my wife would love that. What's on your back? palette work? No. Okay. Anyway, so, but yeah, man, I really can't. And he comes back to the fact that the people there are upset, and nobody would mention it because they're scared of the monster. Obviously, we know who he's talking about. It not the first person to bring it up. This is kind of, unfortunately, all this stuff has been talked about. It's been aired out, and we've mentioned it time and time again, as have many other shows out there. So, I mean, he's not bringing any really hardcore, hard-hitting, oh, I didn't know that stuff out there, but he's right. I'll definitely say that.
Right. And it's just kind of interesting that, like, so many of their former employees are echoing the same things that we're echoing, and it seems like everybody sort of knows it except for the person that needs to know it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and you know what? Even if they knew it, they wouldn't admit that they were wrong anyway, so.
Right.
There's that. Now, speaking of those, all the WWE and Raw and SmackDown, PW Insider reported earlier today that Jason Jordan, yes, Kurt Angle's son, has basically, not basically, but taken over John Laurinaitis' spot of being head producer for both Raw and SmackDown. So we're either going to have a lot to blame him for or praise him for down the road. We don't know what he's going to do. It was just today. Raw hasn't, Raw's already passed. SmackDown will happen. I don't know how much input he's going to have on this SmackDown coming up, but maybe as everything progresses, I guess we'll see if there's any change coming up in either show.
Now, I want to check on something real quick because I'm not sure. But yeah, so that's one of the big news of today is that Jason Jordan is taking over. Now, I heard, and I just want to check this, that he was taking over Raw, but I don't know if he's taking over SmackDown. I thought I had seen something. I want to just double check that Laurinaitis is going to be the head of SmackDown. So we shall see about that. I think I saw it on the Observer, so we'll see.
Oh, there you go.
We'll see if I can dig that up real quick. I'm looking for it, but we'll
Poor
see.
Sasha Banks.
Either way, though, it's very interesting, though, because there was a period of time where we all just kind of thought that he was done, and Jason Jordan was done because he had that injury, and after that, it was just I think I knew that he was still at the company, but I had no idea that he was in any sort of capacity as an executive.
Yeah, I think we had talked about that. He was still in a role backstage, so yeah, definitely there. But poor Sacha Baron Corbin, he misses John, old Laurinaitis' voice.
I do too, in a weird way, because it got to the point where I don't know if it was Stockholm syndrome or what, but like he was so bad that he became kind of entertaining with the whole fucking people power thing, and it's just like,
goddamn right, we got people power out there. Goddamn right.
You fucking kids. I like to go to the park, and the children confuse me for duck. Feed me bread. It's pretty wonderful. Do you know I banged the Bella Twins' mom? That was pretty fun.
I married her.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking banger. He's marrying her.
Well,
but
that's nothing to be proud of.
No. Well, maybe. I don't know. That's an achievement somewhere, some way. Maybe he can get all three. I mean, from what we've heard, they've bathed nude or been in a pool naked together.
With other fluids as well.
I'm sure there's been many fluid exchanges. Jesus Christ. At this point, Natty and her sister are just like a friggin' dream, too. But anyway, Smark, you got a couple more things to get into. Choose one and we'll rock it out.
Well, I think the other thing we were going to talk about, we were saving that one for Friday.
Right.
Because Andrade's got himself his first match outside of WWE, and boy, oh boy, there are a lot of angles to get into on that one.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and hold that one off till Friday. But those who know, they know. But from one terrible person to another, not Andrade, his opponent, Sunny is back in the news, similar to how Teddy Hart is in the news. She got arrested for DWI, driving on a suspended license, and evading arrest.
Yeah. What's new?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know what else to say. What's new? And it says she pleaded guilty to it, which I believe this was her court date, and she'll be out soon, hopefully. I don't know, man. I mean, poor Sonny.
Yeah, and I mean, I know it sounds sad, but I mean, it's just important to remember that she's sort of on all times and opportunities and cases proven to be a pretty garbage human being. So if you can ever take any sort of pleasure in the downfall of others, which I don't think you necessarily should, but that's not a bad person to enjoy laying the boots to while they are on the ground. I posted here in the Mixler chat a photo of her just looking absolutely stunning in this lovely prison outfit motif that she has on here. So if you want to go ahead and check that out, that's I wonder if she'll be taking the outfit home to sort of do a photo shoot for her OnlyFans with.
Oh, there you go. She can make videos like "What's on my finger."
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the fact that she has a sort of a known ability to, sort of be flatulent during the act of sex will maybe perhaps help her on the inside.
It could.
Sort of a skunk defense mechanism.
Well, she's not in a man's prison, so that's a good thing, I guess. But
that is true. As I was in the middle of that joke, I was saying, this doesn't really work because you can't get a dick in the ass.
Yeah, and I know I had a joke, too, for it, but I don't even care to say it anymore or remember it. So, but yeah, I mean, seriously, dude, what's new? I mean, it's just, it's Sunny, it's guilty, jail. They're just words that have become synonymous with Tammy Sitch. So, let's just close that off and go head over to here. Smark Vice has revealed the full list of Dark Side of the Ring Season 3. Now, Season 3 is a double season. They're going to do kind of a just double up on episodes. They're going to run through a few. And let's go ahead and announce what the topics right now are for the Dark Side of the Ring. First one we're going to get is a 2-hour premiere of Brian Pillman. Then we're going to get WCW versus NJPW Collision in Korea. Ooh, that's going to be an interesting one. Nick Gage is next, Mark. That one will be talked about on this show. I want to see what they get into with Nick Gage. The Ultimate Warrior, another one we're probably going to talk about. I want to see where they go with this. I want to see what they get into, what they don't get into. Of some of the things he has said and done. Grizzly Smith and his family of wrestlers, which we all know is Grizzly Smith, Jake the Snake, Rockin' Robin. So, see what that one does. Dynamite Kid, another one I'm very curious where their limitations are going to be on that one also. And then we get the second half of the season, which is going to start off with the WWE steroid trials, Smark. Mm-hmm. And then FMW, Luna Vachon, the WWE Plane Ride from Hell. Oh, that one I definitely want to see. XPW, Johnny K9, Bruiser Bedlam, and Chris Kanyon. gotta say, I'm a little shocked that they're going to get into that, but I'm glad they're going to. Again, another one. I'm wondering where they're going to go with it, what direction, and how deep they're going to get into that one.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, it doesn't necessarily surprise me too much because they don't really have anybody that, they don't really have any master to serve there because they've already proven by doing the whole Owen Hart thing that they care not to upset WWE. So it doesn't really surprise me that they're doing a thing, they're talking about Chris Kanyon, who there is a lot to get into about that. So I am too curious as to what they're going to do and just how far they're going to go and who it is that they're going to talk to there. As you mentioned, also the plane rag from hell, I think that'll be interesting. Kind of wondering if, since I don't think he's with the company anymore, if they're going to have old Curtis Axel talk about maybe there's some like sort of inside stories that we haven't heard yet about, Perfect and Lesnar getting into it. If he ever said anything at home about what it is that happened. So we'll see about that. That is definitely, there's a lot of material to go into there with that. I'm looking forward to that. The Nick Gage one, like you said, there's already some kind of teasers out there for that have proven to be pretty interesting. So, I'm really excited about just all of the season in its entirety. It seems like they're getting better as they go along. Like season 2 was a little bit better than season 1. And I thought season 1 was good too. So, a lot of good stuff there.
Oh yeah, and Jericho is going to be coming back as a narrator for a lot of the series. They've got people like Jake Roberts, John Moxley, Mick Foley, DDP, Jim Ross, Jim Cornette, Bischoff, Antonio Inoki, Arquette, David Arquette, who we talked about earlier, Rob Van Dam, Terry Funk.
About that actually, that's awesome.
Yep, they've got Arquette and Shari Tyree, the former wife of Ultimate Warrior. So we might hear some dirt on the Warrior episode. We will find out. But like you said, Smark, they don't really want to rock that WWE boat.
Well, they're not afraid to. I don't think, which I like, because I mean, if you're gonna do a story about this kind of thing, you have to be honest. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people who, in the light that they're going to be shown under, don't necessarily come out looking all that great. Especially, if they're really going to go deep in the Ultimate Warrior thing, he, as we all know, wasn't necessarily the greatest person in the world, to put that lightly.
No, not at all. But I'll tell you, I'm going to skip my last article. I don't even care to do it. I'm going to remove it. We don't need. It's not worth it. But
by the by, just as a quick aside, since we did bring up Nick Cage, and I did mention that I watched the David Arquette documentary. Mm-hmm. It's pretty wonderful because they sort of go in order of the matches that he had in his independent comeback tour, where he worked the various levels of independent matches, and a lot of it's sort of whimsical. They have him wrestling in a literal backyard wrestling promotion, so that's kind of zany. And they document his feud with RJ City, and it's amazing because they basically go from RJ City to Nick Gage, which is such a huge contrast in personalities, because it's just it's all very upbeat and whimsical. And then they show Gage in the back, and they're like, "So what should we expect from this match?" He's like, "Fucking violence, man." And he's got this bandana on, and he's just ready to kill him. And of course, what happened, and it was very interesting.
Yeah, what happened. Arquette had to walk out of that match, and I believe Jimmy Lloyd stepped in to finish that match.
He finished it out. He was in the documentary because there was.
Did he?
He was covering his neck the entire time.
You know what? I'm thinking of the of the Low Life Louie match.
Mm-hmm. Which that was a very interesting show because I believe that was also the same easy for me to say, same show that Marco Stunt broke his leg, because they show a little bit of him in the background being carried out.
He broke his femur or tibia. He broke something really hard to break.
Yeah, it was real fucking sick.
Oh, that was bad. But it's gonna be the Gage one should be. That might be a sleeper, man. That might be the sleeper. Mm-hmm. That might be the sleeper right there. So we'll see how that one comes out. But Smark, you had one more little thing, and might as well end off on a funny note here. Right there in Messenger. Right in between the two. Under Tammy. Right under Tammy Smart. Andrade.
Well, okay. So this is we had talked about this last week with Andrade sort of going into detail about Charlotte getting her teeth done and then feeling pressure to look more like the sort of women that they traditionally hired back in the day, and him getting called out about that for just talking a little bit too much and a little bit too long. Andrade responded to that. Quote, workout, diet, facials. I show them without filters and without makeup what my fiance Charlotte looks like. And for all those people who comment that she has 10 million surgeries, in parentheses, just one, please stop talking shit. At Dave Meltzer, Wrestling Observer News.
Listen, coming to the defense of your fiance, it's, there's some chivalry in that, but, dude, we can look at pictures of her and see that she's had way more than one surgery. Way more. Now you say workout, diet, and facials. I wouldn't post facials if I was you.
Yes, based on some of the other photos, that has a potential to be misconstrued as to the facial that it is that you're talking.
Yeah, it's good that you let her wipe her face off first and then take the picture. You should keep doing that. But I mean, seriously, dude, we're not blind. We can see she looks like a different fucking person. Again, I appreciate you standing up for your fiance. That's what you're supposed to do. But am I not supposed to believe my lying eyes? No. Smart, go ahead.
I mean, much like private eyes, lying eyes are watching you. I was trying to figure out a way to shoehorn that in, and it was clumsy, but I did it anyway, so God bless. Yeah, I mean, it's obvious. And that's the thing, is, like, we know. We've seen, like you said, we've seen her. So, yeah, I mean, there was a little bit more, because that was my first reaction when I saw her criticizing him about talking about her getting her teeth done, was I was like, really? Like, teeth is the breaking point here? You know what I mean? Like, you've gotten more than your teeth done. I don't understand why you would freak out about the teeth situation, but, it made more sense when we sort of delved into the audio. But like you said, I see the point in wanting to stick up and, stand by your man or stand by your woman in this instance. But next week, Friday, we're going to talk about why this statement is a tad bit hypocritical. Why Andrade might not be the champion for women's rights that he would like to present himself as.
Well, there ain't no way to hide your lying eyes, Mark. As I believe the Eagles said. I believe that was a quote from them. But yeah,
football organization.
What?
The Philadelphia-based football club?
No. I believe the band, the Eagles. Oh, okay. Not sure where I'm going there, are you, Smart? Anyway, where we're going is we're done. That's it.
Damn white people music.
I know. Damn old boomer music. Anyway, we're done. That's it. I got nothing else. You got anything else?
I don't.
All right. on that note, we turn on Take Your Drunken Ass Home, and we get on out of here with one more time laying out the plugs. And of course, we're going to start out with the high marks, the Cheese Man, the Mojo, the Gee Whiz. Oh my, you guys got to check those guys out right there. Where are you going to check them out? Mixler.com/Metal Mitt Network. That's right, Metal Mitt Network. 2 T's in Mitt. That was not a stutter. You must type 2 T's Metal Mitt Network on Mixer right there. And you can check them out at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday nights. Definitely do that. Bobby Anthem, Bobby Blades, the Inhumans over there on the Inhuman Experience. Subscribe to that right there on all the usual podcast platforms. You will not be disappointed. And, of course, the Everything Unscripted Wrestling Podcast. Definitely want to check out those guys right there. You can check them out on Blog Talk Radio and all the usual podcast platforms. And you can check me out on there Saturday night hosting Settle It in the Ring. And that's going to be the finals, I believe. I'm hosting the finals. So that's going to be cool over there. And Steve Milan, always sharing the show. Once again, you want to support him, go to letterboxd.com/Stephen Milan, 2 L's in Milan. He's reviewing films. I believe he just hit over 8,000 films reviewed. Definitely go over there and check out his film reviews. And you can always find us on Spreaker, iHeart, Spotify, Google, Anchor, YouTube. You know where to find us. Go for it, Smart.
Of course. Mondays, 8:30 at the Metal Mid Podcast. Now we're going to be sure to listen to Cheese on Sports with the Cheese Man, Cheese Master. Of course, like I said, tomorrow night, approximately 8 o'clock. You want to join them on the Metal Mid Podcast Network on the Mixler device. They're going to be doing a watch-along for the NFL, not the NBA, but the NFL draft. So go ahead and hang out with them and overreact as your team picks somebody you don't like. That's all the fun of the draft. And Sundays, 10:30 a.m. Sundays, you want to go ahead and listen to the Murdoch City Machine Guns with Mojo and Dirk. But last and never least, be sure to check out our friends at Planet Rack on Tour. That's the Planet Rack on Tour podcast. Bobby Anthem, Papa Dave Sincere, and Young Nasty. All 16 episodes are available for your listening pleasure, and be sure to subscribe.
There you go. Talking about the draft, I might have to go watch your favorite movie, Draft Day, Smart.
Oh boy. Boy, do I love that film. Old Kevin Costner and old What's-Her-Face just palling it up.
What's-Her-Face? But, one day we will get into that movie. We will figure out what's going on with that. But anyway, ladies, gentlemen, downloaders, chat room, everyone who supports this show, however you support this show, we much appreciate it. And we will be back here Friday night talking more of the wrestling. See ya!
Adios.
Drunken ass on. Yeah, we're going over. We're going over. We're going over. We're going over. Time to take your